It's finally done. Well, at least the top. Now I have to quilt it. Wonder what kind of thread goes with an abstract. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is vlog number 106 for Monday, February the 18th, 2019. And here where I live in Ontario, Canada, it is Family Day. And this is a provincial holiday, although I think some of the other provinces also celebrate it, but maybe not on this particular day, where we get just a holiday just for the fact that we need a holiday in February. I think the government put it in place a few years ago because after New Year's, there's a long spell that we have of winter and people just go crazy. And until March break comes up, and those that have kids in school may be planning trips, and that's a crazy time, but there's about 3 months where it's the bleakest part of winter. So the government gave us a day, and that is today. So that's great. That means everything's closed, of course. So yeah, extended holiday. So let's see, what are we talking about today? Okay, behind me you can see it's not quite finished yet, but I'm quilting it now. But this is, I'll just move my head over a little bit so you can see it. Actually, I'll move my whole body. So there you go. This is my abstract quilt. It was paper pieced. Will I do another one of these? I don't think so. This was a lot of work. I'm starting to quilt it. The quilting is subtle. It won't show up on the video, but it does show up when you look at it. I've just done this bottom section, the yellow and the dark burgundy. Later today, I'm going to move into the rest of it and move my way up. So it's all been layered. Once I have it quilted, then I can square it up and do my binding, and it is done. And that's one of the classes I've been taking the last little while. So that's 1 out of 4 classes done. Speaking of classes, Walter and I started it's my 4th class, his 2nd class this session. We're making a rug, and I think I've mentioned it before, and this is one of these rugs you make out of 2.5-inch strips of cotton, fabric, quilting cotton, and you put batting down on it, and you have to make it into basically a rope kind of a thing. And that's the process I'm at right now. And believe me, it is tedious and takes a long time, but I worked on it yesterday, and I'm going to finish that part of it up today. So on Saturday, when we go for the last session, because this particular class only had 2 sessions, we start the process of sewing it together. And essentially what it looks like, and you can find these on YouTube because it's very popular right now. You basically sew this long piece that you have in a circular fashion, and you eventually have a rug. It looks like one of those braided rugs or something like that. Like I said, these all seem to be the rage. I'm not that interested in making one, but Walter was, and I thought it might be fun to take a class with Walter because we haven't done that to date. We haven't been in the same class together. So, and so far we haven't killed each other, so that's great. So that's what we've been doing, and of course, let me have a drink here. Water again. I had some coffee on the weekend, and I thought I should cut back again. If you didn't catch Stephen and Walter live this past weekend, Sunday, we did our 3rd art attack. I was thinking it was only our 2nd one, but no, Walter reminded me that we had done 2 already at some points. So some people requested we do another art attack, so this time we did, and we did a mixed media canvas. And this was definitely out of Walter's comfort zone because he's never done anything like this, but I think he did a pretty good job. Here's mine, the finished product. And basically what we started with was a Norman Rockwell picture that I had scanned into my computer, and I basically reduced the size of it so it could fit on this 8x10 canvas. And I had my Cricut Maker cut it out, and a phrase. And I had a selection of phrases that we could pick from. So we both picked a picture and we both picked a phrase, and then we did the rest of this based around that. I'm kind of happy with the way mine turned out. I think it was a lot of fun. And surprise, surprise, not really surprised. I knew he'd do okay on this. He always does. He's got an artistic flair. This is Walter's. And I think that turned out pretty nice too. So I don't know if Walter's completely happy with it, but it's his first effort at it. And for a first effort, I think he did a pretty good job. You know, there's no right or wrong to doing this kind of thing. It's whatever grabs you. So we did that yesterday, and if you're interested in watching us go through this as we talk about what's been happening in the last week, then tune in to Stephen and Walter Live. The link's below. Okay, moving on. Okay, usually in this time slot, I usually review a YouTube channel of the week, something that I have been watching lately, and I think that you might enjoy. I'm running out. I'm always on the search for new ones. I watch a lot of YouTube, okay? I'm kind of obsessed with YouTube. I watch more YouTube than I watch of regular television, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But at least the content that I'm watching on YouTube, I think, is, for the most part, fairly educational. Anyways, I decided this week I didn't really have one to review, but I thought I would revisit my 5 top crafting videos. And what I mean by top is these are the ones that I watch on a regular basis. I get the notifications and I watch them all the time. Well, actually, 3 out of the 5 of these I have cut back on. I don't watch quite as often. And so I've ranked them. And I give my explanation as to how I think they have changed and why they no longer appeal to me. Now, my top 2 still appeal to me a great deal. But my bottom 3 don't. It isn't that I'm criticizing these stations. I want you to understand that. I don't do negative reviews. I'm just explaining to you how they have changed and why those changes no longer really are appealing to me. This does not mean these are bad YouTube channels or not, and I'm sure for lots of people there is lots of valuable content in those ones as well. So here's my top 5. So today, instead of reviewing a single YouTube channel, I thought I might talk a little bit about the 5 channels that I used to go to all the time and why 3 out of 5 of them I don't go to anymore. Now, this isn't, in a way, it's not a criticism, although it's going to sound like a criticism. I'm just trying to explain why personally I don't follow them anymore, but also why you might want to follow them if you don't already follow them. Now, Melody Lane is one that I've followed for a very long time. She has a tremendous following. Hundreds of thousands of people watch Melody Lane. And principally, she is a really excellent source for learning how to use your Cricut, whether it's a Cricut Maker or one of the older models. She does live broadcasts every Saturday morning, and she's got a lot of really good things on her channel. But here's why I don't follow her much anymore. She moved to Florida at some point a couple of years ago, and now she spends a lot of time recording from her golf cart, which she drives all around the gated community that she lives in. It's kind of interesting the first few times you see it, but after a while I find that just a little boring and I want to know more about the crafting. Also, a lot of the things that she now talks about have been talked about by other people as well. There's all kinds of Cricut videos out there. So she does have a loyal following, and I do pop in every now and then, and as I said, she is excellent as a source for learning how to use your Cricut. Tanner Bell also has a tremendous following, and he focuses primarily on using the Cricut tools for creating a lot of vinyl signs. He has other projects as well, but I have noticed in the last year or so he has been focusing much more on using your Cricut to do vinyl projects. Now, I know that's very, very popular and many people want to see those kind of videos. I'm not one of those. I'm really not into vinyl at all, so that's why I don't follow him much anymore. Also, he seems to be running a business. Well, he is a business, and bully for him. He's been in business for quite a while, and he's a relatively young person, so that's great for him. But he's constantly talking about his membership site and about his virtual seminars and things like that that he has going. And again, I am sure they are very worth the money to spend on them. They're just not for me. Like Tanner Bell, Ken's Creations is also a business. He actually quit his job to do his YouTube channel and other things that he does full time. When I first discovered Ken's Creations, I found that he had a great variety of videos on using a variety of electronic cutting machines, different techniques, and different styles. But in the last year, he has gotten involved with a company called Chalk Couture. So most of his videos are about using Chalk Couture. Now, this is part of his business, Chalk Couture, and so I can see why he wants to make videos about how to use a product, because that brings in more sales for him. However, there's a lot of other techniques and things out there in the world to be explored that don't involve making lovely blackboard signs. Quite frankly, I think it's a one-off. Once you've made one, how many do you need, really? But nevertheless, he does have a few videos every now and then, Ken from the Car, which are kind of funny in a very bizarre way. And he also has some videos on taste tests. Actually, when he does a video with Sean and they do a taste test, I really find those ones very entertaining, and I wish he would do more of those. But as I said, if you want to know about Chalk Couture, then he's the guy to check out. Julie Fafay-Balzer has been around for a very long time. She's a very successful artist in the crafting community and in the artist community at large as well. I tune into her vlogs every week because they are interesting. She shows you a little bit of this, that, and the other without going on for days, and you do learn things from her as well about a variety of techniques. Unlike the other three that I just mentioned, I find hers worth tuning into. The other three are much more specialized, and as such, I pick and choose which of their videos I want to watch in any given week. But with Julie Fafay-Balzer, I check out her vlog every week. So she is one that I intend to keep up with. My top choice is Mike Deacon, and you've heard me talk about Mike many times before. His videos are very high quality, very professional, and he stays on topic. He gives a video at least once a week about how to do a mixed media project, which I find very useful, and I do enjoy his weekly vlogs as well, because it gives me a glimpse into somebody else's life in a country that is not the same as my own. Recently, Mike, however, was talking about a product that he wanted to bring out that was a sticker paper, and he wanted to know if we in would be interested in this, because sizes in the UK and sizes in North America are slightly different, and he wanted to know if we could handle it in our printers. Well, I misunderstood about the quality of the paper he was selling, because I thought it might be the same as the sticker sheets that you can buy at Staples. So I made a comment about that and said, really, I didn't think there was much of a market for it here in North America, since we could readily get it at Staples. He did write back to me, and I said that, well, I'll read you the message that I sent him. I said, "Hi Mike, just want to let you know that when I made the comment on your vlog about getting sticker paper here in Canada, that I was not undercutting your proposal for selling sticker paper on your website. It is readily available here in North America, and maybe it is not so available in Europe and the UK. Not sure about that, but I hope you did not feel that I was being disrespectful towards your efforts to provide products. I love what you sell, always good quality at reasonable prices." He wrote back to me saying, "Hi Stephen, I understand what your intentions were when you left the comment, and I know you meant no harm. However, what you and a few other people have done is like dropping a billboard outside my store, directing my customers elsewhere to a cheaper and lower quality item. The sheets you buy from Amazon or Staples are sticky printer label sheets. Mine were going to be professional grade sticker sheets that a commercial printer uses to create commercial stickers, a thicker GSM or pound weight than thin home printer labels. I will still be adding the sheets to my store, but I don't think there's much point having them cut to North America sizes anymore. As I said earlier, I understand there was no ill intent to your comment and you're just trying to be helpful. Mike." Well, I feel a little bad about that, because I wasn't trying to keep people from buying things from Mike. I just felt that this was a product that we could get here already. However, he does say it's a different quality, and I didn't understand that. So when he comes out with it, I'm going to order some and see what it's like. But so that's my review of 5 different YouTube channels that I have followed on a regular basis,
And I hope you don't think that I'm undercutting them. I'm not. All of them are very good. It just depends on what it is you're looking for. So check them out if you haven't seen any of these or haven't visited them for a while.
Now, I didn't put the links for those 5 in my show notes below because they're very easy to find, and I'm sure at least some of them you have probably seen before, and you may be a regular subscriber to them. But as I said, I did put Stephen and Walter Live's link below, and I do have another link below for the book I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. So that brings me to what's pissing me off this week. Well, really nothing, except yesterday. Okay, yesterday was Sunday. Now, I told you this is a long weekend for us here in Ontario. And, you know, so we have Monday off. But everything is closed, including the grocery stores. So we decided we needed a bag of potatoes. Okay, we were having roast beef last night for dinner and we wanted some potatoes. And the potatoes we had here were basically, well, not edible. We had them sitting around for too long. So anyways, off we go to the No Frills to pick up a bag of potatoes. Well, it's a zoo, an absolute zoo. We get in there, we got our potatoes, a couple of other things, and we had like about 8 items, so we could go through the express line. I have never seen the express line, even at Christmas time, that long. It snaked all the way down an aisle, and by the time we got up to the cash register, it was snaking around the corner of the aisle. And I'm not talking short distance, okay? It was just a zoo. And I said, well, what's this? Yeah, it's a long weekend. Yeah, the grocery store is closed on Monday. Why did suddenly everybody decide today was the day, Sunday, that they needed to do all of their shopping? They had the whole weekend, you know, like just weird. You'd think that we had a national emergency and there was a run at the grocery store because everybody was stocking up on bottled water and other essentials, you know. But it wasn't. It was just nuts. Luckily, I did not see anybody in the 1 to 8 express line that had more than 1 to 8 items. And you know how that bugs me. I've talked about that before. It moved along fairly quickly. But what was funny, I was watching people's reactions. Excuse me, is this the express line? Uh-huh. All the way back. And they'd get perturbed. Like, oh my God, I only came in for a couple of things and I got to stand here. Yeah, that's the way I felt too. But what can you do about it? So, am I pissed off about it? Well, yes and no. I mean, it's circumstances you can't control. So, you know, I needed my potatoes, so I'm going to wait in line to get the potatoes. And as I said, it wasn't that large line. I guess what pisses me off are people who, I don't know, what did they think? I don't know. It's not really pissing me off because I just don't understand the phenomena. Why were there so many people? We have long weekends in this country, you know. They happen, okay? We have several of them throughout the year. And even in those weekends, and the same thing, the grocery store will be shut on some of those. So why wasn't there lineups then? I don't know. I don't get it. It's a mystery to me. And on top of it all, Walter decided he wanted to go to the beer store. So he went to a beer store that's close to our area, the one he usually goes to, and he was prepared. He says, I'm not taking any empties with me or whatever. There'll probably be a zoo in there. He said he went in, he might as well take in empties because there wasn't a lineup. It was pretty calm in there. So go figure, you know? I mean, really, the liquor stores and the beer stores are closed on today, okay? You'd think people would be stocking up there because every time there's a long weekend, you see lineups at those two places because everybody has to get their booze. You know, oh my God, you go through a weekend and run out. Horrible. Well, okay, I kind of understand that, all right, me and my wine, but that's a story for another day. Anyways, I'm not really pissed off at it as much as I'm in wonderment. Why should that be that way? Who knows? Don't know if there's an answer. Okay, moving on. What's next? Okay, some new things that we got. Well, we talked a little bit about this yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live while we were doing our art. There isn't a lot of conversation going on yesterday because we're concentrating on doing our art. We did get, well, Walter bought a Amazon Echo, which is, Alexa. You've heard about it, Alexa, I am sure. You probably have one. We've been having a lot of fun with this. Why did we get one? Did we need one? No. Did we want one? Yes. It's not a question of need. It's a question of want. That's how I justify how much fabric I buy. It's not a question of need. It's a question of want. So we have this thing. Well, we've been having a lot of fun with her. We call out her name, get her to play what music we want. Now that was one thing about it that was a little, okay, again, Amazon making some money here. We sat, the first day we got it hooked up, we played around with it, and we tried to give Alexa obscure songs to play. And what she does is she goes to the Amazon library, and I have Prime with Amazon, so it's you get Prime Music free. Well, it's in the price of what you pay for Prime. But on some of the songs, she'd come up and say, here's a sample. If you wanted the whole song, you had to have a subscription to Amazon Music Unlimited. That's where they get you. So you can get a 30-day free trial. So I did. I think Walter says it's $7.99 a month, but I think that's the American price. I think it's $9.99 a month for Canadians. Anyways, I signed up for the free 30-day trial, and we're trying that out. Right now, I think we'll probably keep after the trial, I think we'll pay for it. Yeah, there's something I could have been pissed off about. It seems like I remember back as a kid, if anybody said you'd have to pay for TV, or if you had to pay for radio, you'd say you're crazy. In fact, I remember my father saying, well, the day that we have to pay for television, we're just not going to have it. We ended up paying for television, didn't we? With cable, satellite, fiber optic, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just a way of life now, isn't it? And radio stations are pretty much the same way. Yes, you can get the AM channels and FM channels, on your car radio at home. But if you want really specialized channels and that, you've got to sign up for something like Siri or Sirius. Yeah, Sirius Radio or something like that. Walter has a subscription to that for his car. And I have to say it's pretty good. I don't listen to the radio a lot, so I don't need it in the house. But I do need Amazon Unlimited, okay? So then with all kinds of things you can get Alexa to do. We have it hooked up now so that she turns on our lights in our kitchen area. We have something called Hue light bulbs, and they work from the Wi-Fi and from an app for your phone. That's how we were operating them before, but now we just tell Alexa when to turn them on, when to turn them off, and there's different scenes, different colors, because these ones are colored bulbs, and you can change it to whatever. We have something called Color Loop, which we like. So it's kind of nice to, when you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, I wonder, how many people live in South Africa or something. I don't know. You just go, Alexa, how many people live in South Africa? And Alexa will tell you. Now, the one thing that Alexa doesn't do is, I thought it'd be good for cooking, right? Because it is our kitchen living room area. And, when you ask her about that, there's an app or something, and I think you might have to pay for it, so she'll tell you a recipe or whatever. And you can order things on Amazon, of course, through Alexa. In fact, there's a button you can have on or off, and they default it to the on mode, and I've turned it to the off mode because I think that's just too easy. Plus, I guess she'll describe the item for you, but there's always a selection of ones in whatever type of item you want. There'll be different types of them. And I like to see them, so I still like to go online and look at them. Although there is an accessory to Alexa that's called Amazon Show or something, which basically is a screen. Looks like an iPad, I think, but you can sort of watch videos and have Alexa control it. I don't know, things like that. I don't think we're getting one of those. We already have enough iPads and Apple TV and stuff like that around the house. I don't think we really need something like that. So, of course, this is upstairs. Downstairs, where our main entertainment area is, I thought we should have something down there. So I bought what they call the Echo Dot, which is a smaller version of Alexa. It's a little cheaper than Alexa, and it has a speaker in it, but it doesn't have as good a sound as Alexa. But that's okay, because Walter wired it into our stereo system, and so now if I want to have music, I've got people over, we're downstairs, I'll just get the Echo Dot to play whatever we want. Yes, I know, it's kind of a first world problem, isn't it, that we have this kind of technology. But this is expandable. Like, for example, we have a Roomba, you know, the little robot that cleans floors and stuff. Well, Alexa can control the Roomba, except it can't control ours because ours isn't Wi-Fi enabled. Okay, so I'd have to buy a new Roomba. Well, it's not really too much of a problem to go over to the Roomba and push a button. You know. But anyways, it's kind of a cool toy. It's kind of fun. And we've just started to explore its possibilities. So that was something new that we got. I think I mentioned I ordered this. This is the We Are Memory Keepers binding guide. You can notice I have not taken it out of the package yet. Because I like to make journals and books and things, and I might do a whole video series on making a hardcover journal down the road. This allows you to punch holes where you need them for the binding. And I thought this would be good because I have a homemade cradle kind of a thing that you place the signatures in and you can line up and you have a template and you punch through that. And that works fine. But this works better. So I saw a couple of YouTube videos about this. It looked pretty good. So I ordered one from Amazon and it came last week. And in a future video, you will see, I will talk more about this and I'll show you how I use it. So that's a new toy. And what else? Oh, okay. So, you know, I'm over at Ultimate Sewing. If I get a little bored, I'm at Ultimate Sewing and I'm spending money. So I did. Walked in the door to Ultimate Sewing the other day and they had this fantastic new fabric. Walter, they had a pattern on display with it that sort of utilized these colors, and Walter said, ooh, he really liked that pattern. He'd like to make that. And he's looking for stuff to take on the 4-day retreat we're going on in, you know, a few weeks' time. A sewing retreat. Now, I said, ooh, I like them all, and there's about 8 colors there. And, you know, it kind of pricey. Well, it's $14 a meter. And I usually buy a meter of most things. I didn't have a project in mind for this, but I really liked it. Well, I held off that day from buying it. Or did I? No, I didn't. I needed a couple of other things, and I kept thinking about it. And of course, I don't want just a meter of one color. I want all the colors. So, you know, 8 colors, $14, add it up. It adds up. I gave in and I got it, but it is so pretty. Look at this. Look at this. This is beautiful, this fabric. So I don't have a project in mind for this yet, but I'll come up with something, I'm sure. In fact, I thought about doing this. I found a pattern online by Angela Walters that I really liked, and that's why I was in the store to buy fabric for this other quilt. Like, I need another project, okay? But I thought, well, that'd be something good to take to the retreat. Of course, I've got several other projects I'm taking to the retreat that I need to like get on with and finish up, and they have to do with my classes. But these fabrics would look great in that. But these ones I didn't buy for that. I haven't got a clue what I'm going to do with those. Of course, so I'm in the store, and Walter's picking out what he wants. I'm looking around. So I go over to their basket of embroidery programs, and I find this one. This is Abstract Birds, it's called. And if you look on the back, try to get the glare off it, these look really cool. But embroidery program collections are expensive. This is $87. But she had it in a bucket that said 40% off. Well, geez, 40% off, I gotta have it, right? So I mean, I think it ended up costing me $50-some in the whole bit. But I can't wait to try it out because I think these are going to look good. Now, do I have a specific project in mind for these? No. But I haven't done any embroidery for a bit because I've been busy on these other projects. So I'm hoping later today I might be able to try stitching one of these out and see what they actually look like when they're stitched. So I bought that. So yeah. Anything else? No, nothing else on what I've bought. You've seen all the toys. Okay, so that takes us to our book review of the week. And of course, it's another one to do with scrapbooking, but this would be very good for mixed media people too. If you're like me, you might hate your own handwriting or you're not very good at lettering, and I'm not. So at some point in time, I bought this book called Scrapbook Lettering, and basically it has fonts that you can copy out of it, and it talks about how to do these fonts and things like that. Now, I'll be honest, I have never tried any of these fonts, and I've had the book. It was my intent to do so, but I didn't. However, it does give you, information about how to do these kind of fonts, and it might give you ideas. So if you're into lettering, if that's the kind of thing you like to do, like for titles, headings, and things in your scrapbooks or on a mixed media piece or whatever, this might be a very good book. Now, again, as the books I've been showing you lately are ones that I've had for a while, and some of them are not that readily available. This one, it's by Memory Makers, the Best of Memory Makers it's called. 50 fun to draw alphabets from the nation's most creative scrapbook lettering artists. Okay. I originally paid, according to the back of this, $29.99 Canadian, $19.99 US. So I went to Amazon.ca and let me just see here, what was the price? I did write it down. Yeah, on Amazon.ca you can get this now for $9.57 Canadian. Used, you can find it for as low as $1.87. Again, I have no idea what the shipping costs might be on that. So that's pretty good prices though. And as long as the shipping is not like an arm and a leg, it might be worth having this in your library, okay, of books or whatever, if you have one. So that's the book of the week, and I've linked it in the show notes below. Okay, so that takes us to my next installment of my scrapbooking evolution. And this week, I'm talking about the whole system known as Project Life. So now I would look at a very special system for scrapbooking called Project Life. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with Project Life. I had heard about it for several years, but never was that interested in getting into it. And then one day, for some reason, I thought, maybe I'll give it a try and see what it's all about. I think that was inspired because Becky Higgins, the designer of this type of scrapbooking, actually had an app for your phone that you could use. And I really liked the app. So I bought myself an album or two, and I bought some of the card sets, and I started using Project Life. And I was very quickly won over. But I think I was won over because there are a lot of accessories that you can get. For example, you have these little tabbed page markers that you can customize, as I did here, to separate out different things in your album. Now, this is sort of a general album that I was keeping. The other thing I kind of liked about it was that I had just recently, when I got into this, had bought a selfie printer, which prints 4x6 pictures. It does a really good job, but using the app on the telephone, I could print wirelessly to that device, and I could print them in sizes that were smaller than 4x6, which is the style that is kept in these kind of albums. Also, what attracted me were these cards. They had sayings on them. They were journaling cards. You could write on them. You had background cards as well, and I kind of liked that. And the other thing that attracted me to this was that they had various page layouts. I bought boxes of these page protectors, a lot. I bought a lot, and you can see you could go up to 8.5 or 12 by 12 if you wanted to. So I kind of liked it because it was kind of blending the old style of scrapbook keeping with this newer style. It was also very fast, which I liked. You could just shove your pictures in here. You could find a couple of little cards that would, use as a title, and away you went. Now, I did put embellishments on my pages, as you can see throughout some of this. And the other thing, if you take a look on this particular page, there is some journaling as well. And the app on the phone allowed me to do that. And it made journaling very easy, especially when I was on a holiday, because I could journal each day if I wished to. It was right there at my fingertips, and away I went. So it sort of encouraged me to get back into doing some journaling. You can see in this album I have stuck in some other things as well. But it gives you these little pockets too that you could put into it. So I was putting in birthday cards and things like that in all these pockets. So yeah, I was into this in a major way for quite a while. Now, I haven't done much with this style for some time now. But that's not because of this system. It's because I've sort of gotten out of scrapbooking, as I've mentioned before. And I'll just show you a travel album style. Now, one thing about these albums are they're bigger than a 12 by 12. I think they're 14 by 14, something like that. And they do get heavy. But again, this was a trip that I took over Christmas and New Year's one year. It was a cruise. And see, I was even experimenting here with, making sort of a mosaic out of a larger picture, cutting it down so it would fit in the page pockets. So I was trying to do different and interesting things with this system. But to be honest, I got so obsessed with it that I started collecting a whole lot of like the page protectors. And you notice these ones. I bought the fuse tool, if you know what that is. Fuse tool allows you to, melt these plastic page covers and use them in other ways. So here, you see, to get more pictures on a page, I just created these little hinged pieces. And this was also the time when I was starting to get a little bit more into mixed media. So I was starting to develop 12 by 12 pages with more of the mixed media style as well. But, as I said, I became obsessed, and I started to buy all the kits, and the kits were expensive. I forget what one of these cost, but this is one of the kits. It has like 616 cards, more than you'll ever use in your lifetime, and they come in various sizes with different themes. This was sort of a travel collection, so the words on the cards and that were related to traveling. This is called the Wander Edition, and I think each one of these at Michael's were around $45, so they were expensive. I don't want to tell you how many boxes of these I have in different themes. Many of them have never ever been opened. In fact, in this one I can see there's still the plastic on some of the cards in here. It just got to be way too much. It was becoming an obsession. They had smaller packages as well. 119 pieces it says, and some of these came with embellishments as well as cards and that. So every time I was going to Michael's, I was looking for what was new, and these just did not stop. So I finally had to put an end to it, and I said no more. And of course that was also coming near the tail end of my interest in scrapbooking, and so that's pretty much where I ended. So next time I'm going to again look at where I started to move away from this more and what I was doing in the mixed media line of things. So next week I think I'm going to move away from my scrapbooking evolution and into card making. Although I don't really make a lot of cards, it's not something I really enjoy. I don't hate it. It's just, I don't know, smaller canvas maybe, that's my problem. But it is part of my creative journey here, my evolution in the different things that I have done. So next week I'm going to talk about card making. So that takes us to my continuing segments here about my album creation. And so we're now up to the point where we need to do the embellishment of the pages themselves. So that's what we're doing now. Okay, so essentially I have the album created. I haven't done anything with the cover yet. That'll be the last thing I'll work on. But inside I've got some tags or cards for journaling. I've got some pockets and some things in those, but now I have all this blank real estate here, and I think it's time to embellish this. Now this is the part which is always very difficult when you're making an album, unless you're making it for a very specific person or for a very specific project. This one is a general album. It's got a bit of a vintage look to it, so I think I'm going to keep my page embellishments in that same kind of mode, a vintage heritage-like look. So I've assembled some various bits and pieces of ephemera that I have laying around. A lot of it is Tim Holtz things, and I've had these for quite a while and I've never used them. And I think my idea here is to make this so that every page has an area where you could slip in some photos and where you could slip in some journaling. So I'm going to incorporate these elements on each of these pages, and I'm going to start with the very first page. Now, you notice that my page here has cracked. I could cover that up with washi tape, but I don't think I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do is, because I'm going for a heritage look, I'm simply going to take some Stays On brown ink. I'm just going to fold this back. Oops. I guess I'm not going to fold it back with these in that pocket because they stick out too far. So fold this back a little bit, and I'm just going to apply some ink to that. So although it is actually looks like it's torn, it now has more of a rustic look to it in the crease, and that's just a way of disguising that problem. Now for this page, I'm not going to think too hard about any of these ideas. I'm just going to take a look at the things that I have, and I'm just going to lay them down. Now I have these from Tim Holtz. I've had them for quite a while. They're called Found Relatives, and I haven't used a lot of them, but I think I might just stick one down here. That would look good. Okay. Now, this can serve a couple of purposes. I can put this on here, and I could leave it so that it's open on this side, so you could tuck something inside of it, like a little journaling card. I also have a pile of journaling cards that were manufactured by Tim Holtz as well, or they could be, you know, 4 pictures on one side. Here's one that's kind of neutral. So what I could do is I could just stick that under there, maybe add something to it for a pull. Well, in this kit of paper that I am using, they came with some chipboard embellishments that look like little tags and things, and some of these look like little pulls. So this one, for example, let me get it's got a little center in it, so I'm just going to pop that out. There we go. Maybe just give it a little bit of ink to get rid of the white edges. Keep myself in the camera shot for you. And this could just go on here and just be a simple little pull. I'll just lay that there for now to see if I want to do that. So what else can I add on here? Well, I have some little wooden veneer elements too. So we could add a little thingy right there. Now I have some space up here, so why not a word? And I've got Tim Holtz words here. And how about, I don't know if that would work. Find something. Oh, here's one. This is kind of cute. Remember the now. So that could go right in here. Let's, again, do a little bit of inking. Open up my ink pad here. Trouble with Stays On ink is it does dry out fairly quickly. Oops. Well, I might have been lying about that. This one a little juicy. And I think I should add some around the tag. I like to do this because it makes them stand out from the page, but I am using Stays On because these are going to be handled, and moisture on other products might make them run or smear, so I don't want that. And now I haven't stuck anything down yet because I'm just getting a feel for all of this. I think that one should go this way. And let's see. I think we need something else up in this area. So let me go to one of the sheets. Actually, I got a thing of stickers as well. So we could use a sticker on here. So let's see. How about this one? Looks interesting. If I can get it off of here. Just put that there. I like to layer things. So let's commit here. Maybe something else down here. Is there anything on this chipboard piece that might be good? Or do I have something else? Let's see. Decisions. Here's one that's got some postage stamps. Maybe right up about here. And in there. Okay, and I think I need something down here. Maybe again, maybe something. Remember the now. See the world. Move that. That might be nice. Now, of course, if you had a specific theme in mind or a specific person in mind that you might be creating this for and giving it to them as a gift, you might be a little bit more picky about what you're putting on a page. Now, I have this area here that's empty. And that might be a good place to put another pocket or a journaling card. I've got a journaling card there, but someplace where they could mount maybe a picture. So how about something, maybe something like that. And that could act as a frame for a picture. And we can put a couple of more embellishments around it, but let's first just ink the page. Go down here. I think I'll put it more into the center. And we still need something along the top and the bottom. Actually, there's a couple of little chipboard corner pieces here that could just go on either corner. Again, just put that down here. Again, let's add a little ink. Okay, so I could glue those on there. And you could get a picture in there or put a little piece of journaling in there, whatever. And I think I still need something up and above. Do I have any more stickers? Yes, I do. Some little tags. These might be good because there's a spot where you can write on these as well. Okay, so there's my first page laid out. So all I need to do is glue these items down. So let's start with the ones I don't have to move around. Now, I am using Gorilla Glue for this, clear Gorilla Glue, because you really want these things to stick. You could use two-sided tape, you could use white glue, whatever you have. I find this Gorilla Glue, though, is really, really good. And it, in about 10 seconds, it's there. It'll grab. And we'll do the same over here. And it's good for metal as well as paper or cardstock or heavy chipboard. stick that one down yet. So this one will stick to there, to the edge of this card. Oops, I just blew that. Okay, I'm going to put that there. I put the glue on. Shoot. My bad. Just going to hold that there for a second. And I'm going to wipe that up best I can, otherwise things will be sticking where I don't want them to. Okay. Now on this one, I want to leave it as a pocket, so I'm just going to only put glue, a thin bead of it, around 3 edges. And I got my little heart. Like I said, this glue is excellent because it dries clear and it holds almost anything to almost anything. And dries very, very quickly. Now that one's dry now. Now I'm thinking, should I put a little ribbon in there? Well, let's put this on first. And I'm thinking a little ribbon in here. So let me see. What have I got in my ribbon supply? Just cut off a little piece of black ribbon. I'm just going to fold it in half. Put it through that hole. There we go. And I'm just going to leave the ends loose. I'm not going to tie a bow in it. Why, you may say? Because I'm really rotten at tying bows. I'm just going to clip it off. And so that gives you something that you can just pull out. Now, over onto this page, let's get this card stuck down first of all. And then these little corner pieces. And you can see that our page is coming alive now. And everything's holding very well with that glue. So yeah, I highly recommend Gorilla Glue, super glue. And it dries clear. Just don't get it on your fingers and put your fingers together. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And that was relatively quick. But I'm not going to make you sit and watch me decorate every one of the pages in this album. I'll come back when I have them done and I'll leaf through it with you. So now I have finished embellishing the inside of the album, and as I said before, if you were making this for a specific person or if you were doing it on a specific theme, you might want to be more specific in the embellishments that you pick. But all I did was collect a few things I had sitting in my stash that had sort of a vintage feel to it, because this album has a vintage feel, at least I feel that it does, and put them all together. So let's take a look at what I did inside. Okay, so here you'd already seen this pocket made before and these tags for it. I just added on this one this little sticker that came with the paper pack that I used throughout this, the Graphic 45 communique. This is the page that I worked on, that you saw me work on it in process. And my whole idea of this album is, it's kind of generic. If someone wants to put their own pictures into it or do some of their own journaling, there's lots of places for that. And there's little things that you pull out like this, and areas you could put a photo on top of it and make it a little smaller, and this would become the border around the picture. On the flap, I just added some other elements here, some more journaling kinds of cards, and I stuck this guy on the edge of this because he kind of acts as a flap opener, if that's the term for it. It also gives it a bit of a three-dimensional effect. Now, you already saw that I made these back in the last segment that put in the pocket, but on top of the pocket I've added this. Again, this could be the backdrop for a picture or series of pictures or some journaling, and in here I've got a little card, some of those found people of Tim Holtz's, and I stuck one of the chipboard embellishments from the paper pack on the top of this. But on the back, you see, they could simply add their journaling or another picture or whatever they like. They don't even have to use these. They could put these in another section of this book and put their own little tag or whatever they want into any of these pockets. It's just a suggestion. So here in this one, now I made this is a card, if I can get it out, there we go. This is just part of that paper pack. I cut this out, so there's two sides. One side could be for journaling, another side could be for a picture or whatever. But to hold this card in, I made this little corner piece, which were some of Tim Holtz's little people, or whatever, paper dolls I think he calls them, and I just glued them all together side by side, so they'd act as a little holder for a card. And it's big enough that you could stick a few loose pictures in there as well or whatever. And on the flap page, I just added another place for journaling, and I added another little card here that could be for picture, journaling, whatever. It's another little pocket. It's up to the person that owns this what they want to do. And on this flap, I added another journaling spot, or this could be the backdrop for a picture, whatever, and some of Tim Holtz's raised words. And the little words here, and you'll see these throughout, are simply stickers that came with the paper pack that I'm using for this album. Now, you saw me make this in the last segment, but here what I did was, it opens up, and there's plenty of room here. You could put a picture underneath here, you put some journaling, more pictures. So it's like a little mini book within the book. I just added this chipboard punch-out piece from the paper pack and a couple of other embellishments. On this page, we have room for journaling as well, but I took one of those found relatives pictures from Tim Holtz and created it into a pocket and just dropped this card into it. And on this side, I just added this guy just for fun. You might actually be able to lift up an edge of this and tuck something under his arm. Now, these are a couple of loose cards, and I put this paper binder clip. Again, this is one of Tim Holtz's items. It's not glued down. In fact, originally I was going to try to glue it down, but the glue didn't seem to hold that for some reason. I don't know. The glue, I used the same glue, the Gorilla Glue, throughout this album, and it held everything really well. It just wouldn't hold this clip. But then I thought, well, why not throw in a couple of these cards? The back side could have journaling or other pictures, or they can just slip in cards, postcards, whatever, of their own under that clip. And they could put in several. Again, another pocket, but you saw me make that before with the little things inside. And here's another one of these little booklet kind of things. I just took a piece of the paper from the paper pad, cut a length of it, and folded it in half, and now it becomes like a little flip-up book. And on this page, again, I added one of the found relatives. I added some of his paper doll people. I thought this was cute because it looks like she's actually sitting on top of that picture. And this is another place for journaling or a picture with one of those chipboard embellishments just attached to the side, and it just tucks right into there. Another place for whatever. And on this side, I put in these little wood veneer pieces, and I just took another piece of that scrapbooking paper, cut out this image, and it can be for whatever, and it just tucks right underneath the edge of these this butterfly and heart. Again, another one of these little booklet kind of things, which you saw me make in a previous segment. Added another chipboard embellishment, some words, some paper dolls, and finish it off with a little bit of embellishment on this pocket that I'd already created earlier. So that's the inside of the album. Now you could keep going. You can add as much to this as you really want. I think I'll stop there. And in the next segment, we're going to talk about decorating the cover and the spine and the little flap that's here. Okay, so bringing this to the close, what have we been up to in the past week? Not a lot. Just the classes as usual. The rug class, I already talked about that, and my other classes. My mom's doing fine. We went over to visit her. We had a lot of bad weather this past week, a lot of ice storms and that kind of thing. So that's kind of kept us indoors. But we still got to our classes, got over to see my mother, and we did discover a little tiny family restaurant not far from where my mother is living right now, from the nursing home. Close enough that in the really nice weather, we could take her out in her wheelchair and we could just walk to this little restaurant. And the food was really good. So that was something we explored and discovered in the past week. And let's see. Yeah, that's about it. I've talked about everything else. And what's coming up? Not much. Well, things are coming up, but not in the immediate next week. I mean, we do have the sewing retreat in March. We do have our trip starting in March, in the middle of March, to Australia. So we'll be talking more about that when the time gets closer and things like that. But that's about it. So I hope you can check us out this coming Sunday for Stephen and Walter Live. It'll be at 4 o'clock this coming Sunday, Eastern Standard Time, of course. So I don't know what we're doing, but we'll figure it out once we get there, okay? So I hope you have a good week. If you live in Ontario, happy Family Day to you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.